Hi YouTube, this is Joe Calton with Calton Cutlery. You can visit me on the web, caltoncutlery.com. So today we're going to get back into the Diamond Stone series. I started it, it was before elk camp, so it's been a couple of months. And then just got busy doing other stuff. So we're going to go ahead and see, I think the first video was that we'll be starting this new series and kind of an overview on what the new series is going to be. And that's, diamond stones and we're just taking a look at some new stones, but we're going to be comparing them to the DMT 325 because that's been my favorite one for the longest time. And that's what this video is about, is the DMT 325. The second video, I said, why mess around with diamond sharpening stones at all? Okay, so guys, I do this for a living, okay? I sharpen knife after knife after knife, I make anywhere between, I don't know, maybe 100, 150 to, 350 or so knives a year. Okay, so that means I'm sharpening all of those knives because, people won't buy knives if they're dull. So all of those knives need an initial edge, okay? We're not talking about just, touching up an edge. They need initial edges. Most of these knives start from bar stock or from round bar, and they're either forged or they're ground, so they need initial edges. Then, I carry a couple of knives every day. I've got working knives, I've got knives here in the shop, I've got lathe tools, I've got, I sharpen a lot. So, so that's, well, that's just part of, where I'm coming from, so you kind of get an idea about where we're going. So anyway, the second video was why mess around with diamond stones at all, especially when we have stones like the Norton crystalline coarse fine combo. Probably my all-time favorite stone is that stone right there. I do like the diamond stones because you don't need to use water, you don't need to use oil, you can use them dry. They do, if the stone is sharp, okay, and these stones you can't really maintain them, okay, you get them out of the box, you break them in a little bit, and then they have a usable lifespan where the diamonds are nice and sharp and they're all still attached to the substrate. And then, and then they start falling off. Either the diamonds start getting ripped out, or, the diamonds start going dull, or they get loaded up. You can clean them, but you really can't resurface them or recut them like you can a Norton crystalline or a fine India or an arc or, any of those stones. So today we're going to go over the DMT 325. Okay, now this has been my favorite diamond stone now for a while. Okay, like, I don't know, 10-15 years, something like that. I only use the 325. I have gotten, a couple of the kits that had 325, 600, and, 1,000-ish, something around there. Back when I was buying them in town, back before Amazon really was a thing, and, now it's faster almost most of the time to get on your laptop or on your phone and, call up Amazon and say, hey, I need another one of these stones. It'll be there the next day. You don't have to drive into town and see if Sportsman's Warehouse has got them or if they're out, or if Murdoch's has got them or if they're out. It's just a whole lot faster and a whole lot more efficient just to call Amazon. And you get them direct from the DMT store on Amazon, okay? So I'm pretty sure these are not copies, they are direct from that store. Now, that being said, I've gone through a lot of these, okay? And this video is a little bit tough for me because it's almost like, that favorite work truck of yours that you've just been through an enormous amount of stuff together. And then it's just about time, the truck's getting worn out and, you keep replacing stuff on it and, it's to the point where you're kind of wondering if it's time to let it go or not. That's where I'm at with these DMT 325s, okay? In the beginning, these were awesome stones. You get them fresh out of the box. You break them in a little bit, and when I'm talking breaking in, I'm not really talking like you break the thing or anything. All I'm talking about is that you would take, 3 or 4 knives that really had jacked up edges and sharpen them. And just, I mean, not, you know, super hard or any, not, you know, I mean, not like, you know, bearing into the stone or nothing, but just sharpen a couple of stone or knives that had really jacked up edges. In the process, when you were breaking them in, what would happen is that, you know, so these stones are just you know, a steel plate, and then they basically spray diamonds onto the well, they probably coat it with some sort of a glue, and then they spray diamonds on the top of it, right? The diamonds that stick, you know, that's great. The diamonds that don't stick fall off, and they probably go into a hopper to get resprayed the next time, right? When you get them brand new, there'll be, you know, diamonds that didn't stick all the way, and diamonds that might have clumped up a little bit. And when you sharpen that first 3 or 4 knives, or maybe even a dozen of them or so, what you're doing is you're breaking off those ones that aren't adhered very well. And, you know, anytime you might have a clump or something like that, you know, that'll typically, you know, take a little bit of working to get that part out. And then away you go. Then the stone will be broke in, and then it'll be good to go for, you know, I don't know, 4, 5, 800 knives. And then the diamonds will slowly start cutting a little bit less aggressively, a little bit less aggressively. Part of that is loading. You can take an old toothbrush and clean these with Dawn dishwashing detergent and water underneath the sink, and take a toothbrush and, you know, really work it in there and get rid of all that trash. And then the stone will cut really good again for a period of time, and then, you know, it keeps, and it'll just start slowly wearing out. The edges that I get off of a nice, you know, a nicely broke in DMT 325 are excellent. That 325 grit edge off this DMT stone with a micro bevel is the, you know, the best working edge that I know of. All right. It's even better than the Norton crystalline on the fine side with micro bevels. The diamonds are just sharper, and so they cut a little bit more aggressively, and so you get a crisper scratch pattern on the edge, and you just get a really, really nice edge that's really aggressive. It's got an awful lot of bite to it, but yet it's still fine enough that, you know, if you need to cut, you know, a splinter out of your hide or something like that, you know, it's still fine enough to do that sort of deal. So that 325 is the DMT 325 has been my all-time favorite working edge. Now the problems, okay? These DMT stones, they're not what they used to be, okay? I had, so there's 6 of them here right now, right? I think there's one in that work truck, one in the other work truck. I think there's one in my my Blazer. There's one in the kitchen. I've given away probably a half a dozen or 10 of them or so, you know, stones that still had life left, but, you know, somebody came over to learn how to sharpen, and, you know, they didn't know what to get, and I had one that was starting to get kind of on the smooth side. Didn't put an edge onto my standards, but, you know, they would have loved it. So I just gave them to them. So I've had a lot of these over, like I said, the last 15 years or so, and they are starting to get to the point where I almost don't want to tell anybody to buy them anymore. All right, just because the last couple that I've gotten, this one right here was the most recent one, and it had trash on it, and it had clumps and clumps of diamonds on there that you just had to dig to get them, you know, that clump like I'm talking about. You had to dig them, you know, out pretty much. So, you know, and they used to not be like that. Like I said, this last one was 7/25/24, so that would have been, what, like 4 or 5 months ago, something like that. And it's still a good stone, but, you know, I mean, a lot of times beginners are asking me what to buy. And it's to the point where I'm almost don't want to recommend them to buy one of these, because I'm not too sure if they're going to get one that's halfway decent out of the box, or one that they're going to have to, you know, spend a half a day breaking the thing in. That's what I've been having to do with these things lately. I've been taking a chisel, start off with a flat razor knife like this, and fresh out of the box, run it over the entire width and surface of the stone. Okay, now you guys hear that sound? Okay, that's what it's supposed to sound like. This one, when it was brand new, it sounded kind of like that, only there'd be, you know, like little wrecks, okay, where that edge was wrecking into, you know, a clump of diamonds that wasn't nice and even, all right? Now those diamonds, or those clumps, I couldn't get them out with that, so pretty much you take a chisel, now you've got a much smaller surface area here, and pretty much find out where it was, and then go back and then find it again, and then just dig that clump of diamonds out. And then they don't last as long because you're putting that much pressure on there and you're digging diamonds out. The 4 stones before that could have been these 4, okay? I got them and they really bad like that, right? So somebody says, well, contact DMT and they'll make it right. So I did contact DMT. And I said, okay, well, I got these stones here and the last 4 of them have been crap. And they said they wanted to, you know, get receipts or proof that I'd purchased them from them. And they said, at the end of the day, they said, yep, you purchased them from us. We will send you 4 new ones. And I thought, hey, great, this is going to be cool. Well, the 4 new ones were just as bad as the original 4. So that's why we are doing this whole thing, okay? So I think what we're going to end up doing is I'm going to do some unboxing. I've got an Easy Lap, I've got a Sharpall, I've got a Home Depot one, a Harbor Freight one, a Lansky. There might be a couple of more in there. And we're just going to take a look at them, what they look like fresh out of the box. We're not going to do another DMT because frankly right now I don't want to buy another DMT. I want to find something else, something that's good right out of the box, you know, that needs minimal break-in, that I can say to somebody who calls me up and says, Joe, hey, you know, I've got $60. What do I, you know, what do I buy, or what diamond stone do I buy and, you know, have a good chance of it being a good one right out of the box. The DMT, like I said, has been my favorite ones. And we are going to compare, once we get through the unboxings, and we'll probably sharpen some knives on those stones. Then we'll do some comparison, maybe some cut tests, some microscope work, whatever, you know, on the individual stones against each other. And so, you know, since I'm a knife maker, I mean, I can grab, you know, out of the, you know, maybe I'll make 6 of them that's got pretty identical geometry, out of the same steel, same heat treat, and just see where it goes. But anyway, that's the DMT. We're not doing an unboxing because I don't want to buy another one. And I'm hoping that we're going to find another stone that's going to replace these and be my new favorite. So again, this is Joe Calton with Calton Cutlery. You can visit me on the web, caltoncutlery.com. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we will see you next time.